May the midday hour, may the midday hour bring healing and peace. Bring healing and peace. May all living awaken to truth. Awaken to truth.
Mycelium Buddhas across space, time, past, present, future. Let your teachings enter the intersections of body, heart, and mind to soften our hearts, to see the pain of those denied respect and dignity, to awaken to the suffering in and around us, to realize we are the fabric of reality, to feel the joy and freedom of impermanence unfolding, to flow harmoniously in a stream of interbeing. Mycelium Buddha, what can you teach us about how to tend a garden? How to shine light on Buddhists buried in delusions of authoritarians, greed of oligarchs, hatred of supremacists. Mycelium Buddha imparting. Breathe in, together. Breathe out, expand. Unroot weeds of ignorance, desire, and avarice. Cultivate blossoms of wisdom by transforming mud into nutrients. Infuse compassion into the intricate connections that embrace us. Strengthen the network of our mutual belonging. Grow branches of refuge that protect all beings from harm. Now, I call on your wisdom to free all beings. See that I am you and you are me. Mycelium Buddha is your name. May all beings realize Mycelium Buddha is inside, outside, above, below, in brightness, in darkness, seen and unseen, beyond all directions throughout space-time. Gate gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhi swaha.
Courtesy counts daily.
Gathered here at this moment, this day. It is not lost on me that we just celebrated Independence Day. Okay. And I say, what a blessing to be able to stand here and say today we are celebrating Interdependence Day, I hope. I am Grandmother Clara Sawing Hawk, former Deer Clan chief and presently ambassador of Ramapo Muncie Lenape Nation, New York, New Jersey. Like was spoken, I mean, my greatest title is grandmother. I didn't have any grandparents that I knew growing up. So, and I have many grandchildren. And I had asked my oldest granddaughter, well, I made a statement one day, my oldest granddaughter, and I said, I say words sometimes. I said, because I just don't know how to be a grandma. And she looked at me and she said, Layla, she goes, you're the best grandma. She said, because she goes, you're the best mom. And I understood that, from her heart to mine, because she understood I didn't know grandparents. I was concerned about being a good grandparent, but what she understood, what she could see was that I was a great mom to her mother and her aunties. So I say with all my heart, to everyone who has grandchildren, they are the next 7 generations. And we do have that responsibility to care for them and love them in this good way. And today is part of what we're doing. This information that you receive audibly, that you receive spiritually, I hope will change you in a better way, help your walk, and that you would take this information and you would share it, with the younger generations, the next 7 generations to come. I'd like to say a prayer. Yon kwai kishkwi walk me walking, walking, walk me on the marti, walk me wikian. Anishi kishalmo kwang, elamiliang, kukuna aki, walk kisho, walk ni pahun, walk a long way walk papatok creek. Anishi kishalmo kwang, elamiliang, Tindo walk mbi, Asino walk kashhang, meat kwak, walk papak bolashak, walk bucha pika. Anishi kishama kang elamiliang, awaya yisak, walk awa lashosha, walk damasak, walk akoksak. Anishi kishama kang elamiliang, kohamina walk kamahom sinner. Kukuna wat kokuna, nichinina wat chosamina, lapi anishi alumilium, yon kwai kishkwi nindu masawakana, anishi, 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 aho. I'm saying thank you, Creator, for giving us this day, for giving us good health, my relations. Thank you for giving us our Mother Earth and the sun and the moon, the stars and the thunders. Thank you for the fire and the water, for the stones and the wind, for our trees and our flowers, for the grasses. Thank you for all the animals, the birds and the fish, the insects, the no-see-ums. Thank you for our grandmothers and our grandfathers, our mothers, our fathers, our children, and our friends. Thank you again for giving me this day in my life. Anishi, 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 Anishi. I'm going to say thank you 4 times, honoring in the greatest way the 4 directions. And I'd like to say at this moment, I bring you the greatest, the most humble, peaceful wishes from our nation, from the Ramapo Muncie Lenape Nation, from all of the tribal members, from our different clans. We welcome you to the Eastern Gate of Turtle Island. And this is the home place of the original peoples of the island of Manhattan. And like I said, we are living descendants of those peoples. I wanted to share a little bit about interdependence. This week, as I was going to, when the rain stopped, I was going to my sweetgrass patch and having a conversation. But what I received was a teaching. As I saw the sweetgrass, I saw thousands of blades of this beautiful smelling, this beautiful fragrant sweetgrass. Now, I know what I want to do with it. I know that I want to make sweetgrass braids. But even in doing that, there's such a process that you have to have a relationship, and because you do this with intention. And for really the first time, I sat and I saw each blade of grass, and then I saw the blades of grass that I would need to complete one braid. And that's 21 braids of grass. Each one of them on their own are just independent, single blades of grass. But to make this sweetgrass braid, I had to choose 21. And out of those 21, they were chosen with intention and prayer. They were split into 3 groups of 7. So we had 21 braids, 21 blades, and 3 groups of 7. So those were going to make up my braid. Now, I knew before I could even begin, I had to have someone holding the end of that braid, so I got my granddaughter. The braid does not start without help. She held the end of the braid with each blade of grass. The first 7 blades of grass were in recognition of the 7 generations past. The middle 7 blades were for our 7 sacred teachings, which are courage, honesty, humility, love, trust, respect, and wisdom. The third set of grass is for community and the next 7 generations. So when you put those 3 together and you band them together, they are interdependent. They cannot stand alone. Alone, they are just one braid. I mean, just one blade. Together, they have become the beginning of the braid when they were separated. Once there was someone holding that end of the braid, so it could be braided, 3 intertwined, then they became a very strong community, interdependent. That braid was strong because it's interdependent. Every piece, every blade of grass had a purpose. Just as we, each and every one of us, walked a path in our life to get to this day, to get here, to stand in this sun, to be present here. We each have come with our own purpose. Each of us have walked our own steps. Each of us have dealt with our own fires and trials and tribulations. But we have come here, and this is a divinely orchestrated day. I hope everyone knows that. The timing of it and everything. And I will share just real quick. August 8th is the Lion's Gate. I mean, we have an opportunity here to take whatever it is that you receive in your spirit, and with the greatest of intentions, place that in August 8th to move forward in a good way. So we thank you for coming out here, and I want to turn this over now to my brother, cousin, very special to me, Owl, Stephen Smith. Yeah, I gotta give his government name. He's an attorney. That's what happens when you're an attorney, right? You give it up. You lose it all, right? He has some very pertinent and I want to say dire information, because this information was delivered to him in a very special way. And it can only be...
Anashiki Shalamokwe, Anashi Kawachi Manitou. Ninju Sinzi Corpos Ramapo, Awalatamanu Ndak, Ato, Ramapo, Munsi, Lenape, Anishinaabe. Anashiki Shalamokwe, Anashi Kawachi Manitou, Elamilian, Gaganai Ki, Hindi, Kashong, and now, Anashi Nialangramati. So I spoke to you also in the words of the Muncie language, the original language of Manhattan. And Manhattan also being a Muncie word, I've heard different translations, one of those being land of many hills. So a lot of the destruction that occurred here was not only human, but it was of the natural world. Like a lot of these skyscrapers, they had to actually flatten the land to build the skyscrapers. In some areas, there was so much rock and stone they couldn't do that. That's why you have different areas where you have the skyscrapers. So, yes, there was a lot of violence, not just in the human world, but the natural world as well. There was a New York Times article that had an interesting, article that comes to my mind in this day of interdependence. The New York City region here is the most linguistically diverse region on the planet. There's more than 800 languages that are spoken here in this region, which is a testimony to how perhaps we all can live together. Maybe not well, maybe not peacefully all the time, but a lot of the time. Muncie will always be here. It's embedded in the ground, the trees, the water, the air. And until recently, it was not spoken as a written, or rather, it wasn't spoken as a living language, as we said. Unfortunately, to our relations, particularly in Canada and also Wisconsin, of our diaspora, Muncie diaspora communities there, we have the Muncie Delaware Nation, we have Lenape-Lackawanna, known as Moravian Town, we have the Stockbridge Muncie Band of the Mohican. And although our last, as they say, perhaps first language Muncie speaker, let's say, died around 2000, their descendants and us, we are continuing to speak the language and not only conserve the language, but are revitalizing the language. So it's a real honor to be able to speak the Muncie language in the original homelands of the Muncie people and the language. And what I said was, first of all, I asked Creator, whom we call Keisha Lamoquang, who created us from thought. And also another aspect of Creator, Kawachi Manitou, Great Spirit, for help. That's a recognition that we all need help, and that we need to be humble enough to ask for help, not to think that we can all do it up here in our minds or by ourselves, that we all need help. I guess that's also an aspect of interdependence. And then I introduce myself. This is a good place for meditation, to remember that no matter how bad it seems that we have now, keep going forward, and we will get to a better place. In some ways, that better place is here right now, just being with my relative, being here in the nice sunshine here. So, on behalf of, well, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, on behalf of myself here. Since Doris Ornhart spoke for the community, I'll just say thank you, honestly.
Before I give this back to him so he can direct us where we're going through here, I just wanted to share that we have a women's water walk.
Bringing our awareness down to the soles of our feet and making real contact with the earth. This earth that we just got to hear from our Lenape and Muncie and Ramapo elders about, that we were really connected to. We can really feel that as we walk, and each step we can offer ourselves to this earth so in need of our true presence. We can offer that true presence to each other, to ourselves, and to all beings that we encounter. And as we walk, there'll be barriers to staying as one body, potentially, where we have to get across the street. And so our marshals will help us figure out how to do that safely. We'll walk a little slower than we usually walk, but when we cross the street, we'll walk at a regular pace so that we can make it across during the light. And I think we'll just rely on the marshals to guide us about whether we wait. I think we have to cross about 3 intersections and 4.
Protected and safe. Be protected and safe. May all living beings. May all living beings. Give rise to compassion. Give rise to compassion. May all living beings. May all living beings. Give rise to great love. Give rise to great love. May all living beings. May all living beings. Give rise to great love. Give rise to great love. It was yesterday. Thank you. I woke up filled with gratitude that I've been able to live this long. And I was aware of so many beings who didn't get to make it to this age. Whether because of war, poverty, injustice, violence, neglect. I was particularly aware of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, who was killed by an ICE agent in Houston a few days ago. I didn't look up his age, but I feel like he's about my age. 56. I felt really connected to him. And Everyone in this building behind us is a human being worthy of our love and respect. Everyone in our country, everyone in our world is a human being worthy of our love and our respect and our care and protection. So we gather here to bear witness and offer our support and love to all those detained here by ICE. And I learned that this is also one of the largest prisons in the United States, so there's not just people detained by ICE, but everyone here, whoever, for whatever reason they are being kept here. We offer our love and support, and to remember that we're not separate from any of them. Whether the immigrants facing extreme fear and uncertainty, or the ICE agents and the entire national apparatus of immigrant detention, may we connect with the common humanity of all people in this place and know that we are all interconnected. This is our Interdependence Day. The Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh said during the Vietnam War that man or other people are not our enemy. Only violence, discrimination is our enemy, is what we're trying to end. As Dr. King said, we don't hate the segregationists. It's segregation that we want to end. We want to eliminate other people. So the beloved community that Dr. King, that Thich Nhat Hanh, that so many spiritual teachers have given their lives for, is a place where enemies can be transformed into friends. When we fight against something, it can make it stronger. So what would it mean to bring healing to this situation, to all involved? Just like when loggers log a forest, we don't fight against the loggers, but we bring healing to the trees, to the loggers, to the people who are behind the loggers, and we include everyone in our understanding and compassion. Because all who are suffering, everyone in a situation of violence is suffering, both those on the receiving end of the violence, but also those on the distributing end of the violence. So now I invite us to invoke the power of Avalokiteshvara, a bodhisattva of great compassion in the Buddhist tradition, an awakened being whose only job is to hear all the cries of the world, to hear them and to respond with compassion. So we invoke their name to nurture the seeds of compassion in ourselves and to send energy, the energy of protection, to those who need protection, which is all of us. And also to support and tenderize the heart of afflictions.
In the courtroom, the place of lawsuits, on the fields in the midst of war.
Invoking the strength of Avalokita, our enemies become our friends. Sound of wonder, noble sound, sound of one looking deeply into the world. Extraordinary sound, sound of the rising tide, the sound to which we will always listen.
With mindfulness, free from doubts, in moments of danger and affliction.
Our faith in the purity of Avalokita is where we go for refuge.
We bow in gratitude to the one.
In prayer. Let us pray in prayer. Let us pray. Refuse to touch. You forgave those condemned by the world and proclaimed the sacred dignity of every human being. We ask you to stand among us now. May love set us free. Remember those held within these gates. Hold them with tenderness and care. Hold parents who do not know when they will embrace their children again, and children who wonder why the people they love have disappeared. Receive every tear that falls within these places of confinement. Strengthen those who are weary. Comfort those who are afraid. And let no one believe they have been abandoned by you. May love set us free. God of justice, may love set us free. And forgive us, O God, whenever we build cages where you have called us to build homes. Forgive us whenever we choose comfort over compassion. Forgive us whenever we remain silent because speaking the truth is costly. Deliver us from every obedience that betrays love. And when laws demand what mercy forbids, grant us the perseverance to obey conscience before comfort and your love before every earthly power. Keep us faithful to the non-violent way of Christ.
Would like to come join us. And every Saturday also from 7:45 in the morning we pitch a tent, and together with the Remedy Project, which is documenting the grievances that are taking place inside this place, we pitch the tent to be a resource for our families that come to visit the people both in detention and those who are in prison here also. So more than welcome to join us. If you want to sign up, there are some people. If our hearts were not armed, unfortunately, many aspects of our lives have been weaponized against those who maybe need healing and understanding more than cages and bullets. So we begin by centering ourselves and recognizing that that violence that is externalized in these walls, in these places, also lives within us. And we pray that God, the God of compassion, may allow us to strip away from that violence, to turn that violence, those energies which can be used for love, can be turned as we build up the beloved community. We usually ask people to direct their faces. If you want to, you feel like it, please send your love. You can raise your hands, or you can do us a gesture of solidarity. Do you hear the knock on people before they are seeing us? Though the visibility is minimum, some people still see us. So let us send our prayers. May our prayers, our thoughts, our energies break, pierce,
Violence
the harness,
lose its power.
in us, and thus we may somehow act in compassion and in love. This place has been here and was a model back right after 9/11. It became one of those model places for the newly birthed Homeland Security apparatus that until this day has been. So we are facing untold drama, acts of violence. So we need all of us to, to look into our hearts and then go beyond our hearts and figure out how we stop this machinery that was close by us, was like 2 hours walking. So we woke up, my brothers and some cousins, 5 siblings, and my cousins. So we were like about 8 of us. And we began making our way to this river, 2 hours away walking. So we got there and we are playing, frolicking with the water. And we didn't notice a storm kind of fell upon us. And I could feel the earth shaking and the lightning striking on the water. So I came out and my brothers were already on the run and I was on the run myself, which is not the best thing to do. Well, if there is lightning falling around you. But we ran. There was a shack owned by one of my aunts, Aunt Lucy. And when we got there, and the shack was made up of this light metal. And I remember getting there and kind of breathing a sigh of relief. But as I was doing that, I noticed that one of the walls in the shack was being lifted up by the strength of the wind. And my aunt, in the middle of the storm, her booming voice commanded us, like 8 of us, little bodies. We were 7, 8, 9 years old. She told us, stand next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, and walk to the wall that is being lifted up. We obeyed, we began walking. And then she said to us, now press your bodies against the wall. And we did so. As we pressed our bodies, our small, tiny bodies against the wall came back down to its place. And I had this smile from ear to ear. I turned around to be congratulated by my aunt. When I saw the other end, the opposite end, the wall opposite to us being lifted up. We didn't have to wait this time for that booming voice to tell us what to do. With our tiny bodies, we stood shoulder to shoulder and we began walking towards that wall. You see, that story informs me the way I walk in life. I do believe, and I think all of us know, that our bodies, individual bodies, are vulnerable and limited. Any storm can take us. But if we hear that voice calling us to stand shoulder to shoulder, to walk together, then no storm can be that strong to take us apart. In unity, And in being together, we have a chance to transform these structures that are violent and to bring some light to this long night of ours that we are living in. Hear that voice. Stand shoulder to shoulder. Walk. Knowing that we have each other's back or shoulder, so to speak. This is how we walk if we want to make a change.
Thank you so much. It's very hot, and we want to make sure we take care of ourselves. So we'll just gather in the shade for as long as we need to. So we'll move over there.
Bouquet of flowers here.
Exactly, right. So speech, and then say that word for me one more time. Silence and social change. Right, so it was one of the things I was thinking about. The main topic, though, was called, the title of the work was called Tibet, China, and the United States. Self, IMMOLATION. Immolation, and the limits of understanding. But as I was hearing you all and thinking, I remember thinking, thinking about speech and silence and their relationship to change. You know, it was a good use of my time. It wasn't a waste. But I also thought, there's one S that's missing. We have song, right? We have song. It's very beautiful, right? It doesn't even require words, you know. I can't sing, I'll just say that, so I could be romanticizing songs, but, what else came to mind as I'm thinking about being here, you know, the first neighborhood I lived in, I've only lived in 2 since I moved to New York, the first neighborhood I lived in is very close to here. And I thought about when I was a child, my mom, I didn't know it at the time, I was one of the first Tibetan kids within the US, right? I'm 41 now, and I came just before 1990. And she would have me read books of all different people in the world who had gone through like deep pain, who had been colonized, who had gone through genocide. And my mother never had the chance to go past 6th grade, but she was like, so she wanted me to have the chance to read it. She really knew that all different people had gone through things, so she wanted me to be aware of that. You know, your pain is not the only pain. And she had me definitely read books about Tibetan history and about the pain of Tibetan people. And I remember one story that really stayed with me. And it was this woman, Tibetan woman, she served 27 years as a political prisoner. It was one of the longest sentences of a Tibetan period, and longest any Tibetan woman has served. And later, when I was 13, I got the chance to meet her, which was really cool, you know? But I remember in her story, in the early years of her being in prison, there is a kind of surveillance. Even without the technology, there's the surveillance. Now there's technology, there's more surveillance, right? So at that time, Tibetans are not free to communicate. Everyone is kept alone within this prison, right? And 1959 is when our colonization began 10 years prior. And in 1959, all the structures of Tibet fell, you know? So from that, it might have been a year, 2 years later. And what Tibetans inside Tibet didn't know, they didn't have the information, was that Tibetans had been able to flee, and they were living as refugees, primarily in India and Nepal, right? So those are I was born in one of those countries. When you're born as stateless. It's a permanent thing, you know? But they didn't have this news, right? That something has continued, something has lived on. And one day there were some monks, they were in some sort of like cage, and they were being transferred from one prison to the next. And her job was to like feed the pigs. And that let her have some room to move around. This was before they realized she's like a troublemaker, you know? And And so the monks communicated to her quietly, quickly, and they said, His Holiness, that's on purpose. Okay. How is everybody doing? Do we need to know? Okay. Yeah. His Holiness, the
Dalai
Lama has been able to flee, and he is alive, and he has received refugee status. And she was like, oh, and she thought, how do I communicate this with the rest of the prisoners, because we're not allowed to speak? And she thought, and she remembered there's many songs in different parts of Tibet. Sometimes one region doesn't know the songs of the other region. So she started to sing. And there's just one verse to this song that she shared in the story, very short. And the song translation goes, the snow has fallen, but don't be sad. After the snowfall comes the warmth of the sun. And she sang this, and they heard her in the courtyard singing this. And all the Tibetan prisoners are like, well, what reason do we have to sing right now? You know, she's singing this happy song. They were like, something wonderful must have happened. And they thought and thought and thought to themselves, and they figured out what it was. And all of a sudden, all the prisoners were joyful, you know, and the guards couldn't understand why they couldn't figure it out, and nobody could get in trouble because it was a song, you know. At that time, they didn't know, you know. Now, you know, there can be some trouble for songs, but I'm sharing that because mixed in with those stories of political prisoners, I remember reading from one of them. I don't know who they were. I don't know if they were Tibetan or not Tibetan, because there are so many stories. But I remember when they're alone, right? There's no one else there, right? But there's a feeling of connection this one prisoner felt to all those around the world who were there in prison, right? And I remember as I reflected on this many years later, as I got older, and I thought, they're trying to contain life. They're trying to cage it, you know? And it's like, we are uncontainable, you know? That is, whether speech, you could say, sometimes can be repressed, but it's uncontainable. Also, silence. Silence is massive. It is uncontainable. Song is the same way, right? So I wanted to share that to give, just to me, it gives a positive feeling, and I think many of us have a faith practice of some kind, so I feel like this connects. I will just conclude by saying a couple of small, is everybody okay? A couple of small thoughts, and then I will do the last action during all of your, if you wish to say the prayer, you can, you know. People have talked about walking, you know, and Tibetans, we practice, probably not the only ones, right? But we practice walking in a circle, right? Around some structure or some place that we are either, we are drawing some strength from, we are showing respect to. It is a sacred place. I believe you can also do it to give protection to whatever it is you're circling, right? The word is K-O-R-A. There's a Tibetan person I know who made a beautiful short video called that. I don't know if you'll find it, but if you put in K-O-R-A in YouTube in Tibet, it's a really just peaceful, beautiful piece. I think people here will like, right? But that word means circle, right? And what else is the circle? You go around in a circle, right? We have a word for it. It's almost, I don't really know science, but it's like a scientific word, right? Revolution. It's a revolution, right? That was this different chapter, a little chapter in my work where I was thinking about, like, there's these sides. It's like, which side? You want this side to win. You want this side to win. The politics, you're picking this. Maybe you're outside the sides and things. But I remember thinking, like, what happens? Sometimes it almost feels like people are placing, like, a bet on what's going to happen, right? So I thought of, like, the coin flip, you know? It's like a basic thing as a child. You see the adult, like, oh, wow, they flipped a coin. Like, oh, I'm going to bet on tails or heads, right? But I think what's coolest about that flip is that the coin is spinning. The coin is spinning, right? And it's the act of turning, right? We say turning the wheel, if you know what I mean in some faiths, right? Turning the wheel of Dharma, we have the wheel of existence, and we have like the revolution. It's the struggle, it's the process. It's not deciding there's going to be a preordained, this is it, like a fixed thing, because we know there's an importance to breathing right now in the present and being more expansive and aware of what can be possible. So I wanted to share that part, and I just want to conclude here by saying that I mentioned in the beginning, like, I'm Tibetan, I'm transgender, and you know, just like everybody else, there's more to me than just that, right? But as a Tibetan who's now lived in New York for 5 years, and there's, I don't know if you know, but the Tibetan community of New York, outside of the continent of Asia, this is the largest community of Tibetans in the world, right? And 99% of us began, except the people born here, they began as refugees, or they were born in Tibet and then they fled. And I want to share this because our community, my community, is in a lot of pain right now because of something that happens outside the United Nations last week. And just linked to some sort of powerful sexual activity, right? And, I mean, sure, right? But I remember my dad was telling me a few years ago, he brought this topic up because I was talking about something else, and he says, Tantra has so many more layers than that. That's just like one finger, right? And he says Tantra is something that for somebody or for a community that has been practicing together, right? We might not all have relentless awareness, but Tantra is something you practice where sometimes you're trying, whether it's you're going up against it, whether you're trying to struggle with it, whether you're trying to heal it, something that is so powerful that in some manner, when you look at it, it has the power to just crush you, right? But by certain standards, you are less powerful, right? It's something powerful coming down. But he said, those who are very experienced with Tantra, right? And I believe that the people themselves, even without fully knowing, there can be a practice, any practice, and there's some kind of skill that comes about from that practice, right? What is it they say?
You follow along with Shanti Deva prayer is in your packet. Become at all times, both now and forever, a protector of those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with oceans to cross, a bridge for those with rivers to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a service to all in need. For as long as space endures, and for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world.
Transform the garbage in myself so that you will not have to suffer. I support you. You support me. I am in this world to offer you peace. You are in this world to bring me joy. I am in this world to offer you peace, and you are in this world to bring me joy. And that's exactly what each one of you have done here tonight. So thank you so much for your presence and for bringing joy in my life and everybody's life. So I'll pass it on to Dorothea. Thank you so much for being here. And we do have water and food. And I would like to make a small request that those of us who are here earlier and have been sitting, maybe you want to swap because we don't have enough chairs, so the walkers might need. So I would appreciate it. Our
time in Brooklyn in front of the meditation. It should be a meditation center, but no, it's the
Detention.
Metropolitan Detention Center. Our time there was under the sun. Very deep teachings from a few teachers that just rocked the mic. So we're gonna kind of change the flow a little bit. For those who haven't gotten their food, please go get your food, especially those who just came from Brooklyn. I know you all are hot, probably thirsty.
Water, fire, air, and space.
Combine to make this food.
Combine to make this food.
Numberless beings
Gave their lives and labors.
So that we may eat. May we be nourished. So that we may nourish life. At 5:45, which is now 5:51, we were going to invite a couple of
The world didn't give it to us, no. This love that we have. The world didn't give it to us, no, it didn't. This love that we have. The world didn't give it to us. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. This strength that we have. The world can't give it to us. This strength that we have. The world didn't give it to us. This strength that we have. The world didn't give it to us. The world can't give it. The world can't take it away. This voice that we have. The world didn't give it to us. This voice that we have. Sing to your neighbors. The world didn't give it to us. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Back to joy and sing to your neighbors. This joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us. This joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us. This joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Very good. Wonderful together. And don't let them take it away.
We get there together or never get there at all. Now I want to hear you guys. Now everybody. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. Twice about this time. We never get together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. Sing it like you mean it. One more time. We get there together or never get there at all.
Simply, this is our kind of collective aspiration for our practice. There's four, of course, it says four. The first one, we said, sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them. Again, here, it starts with the acknowledging that this interconnectedness of all, not only human, but among all sentient beings, countless, numberless beings out there, because we are interrelated. It is our responsibility. I want to be responsible to help others, because that is ultimately in a way to help myself. So it starts with this understanding. Simply, this is our kind of collective aspiration for our practice. There's four, of course, it says four. The first one, we said, sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them. Again, here, it starts with the acknowledging that this interconnectedness of all, not only human, but among all sentient beings, countless, numberless beings out there, because we are interrelated. It is our responsibility. I want to be responsible to help others, because that is ultimately in a way to help myself. So it starts with this understanding to save them or help them. Second line goes, delusions are endless. We vow to eliminate them. So it talks about delusions. In a Buddhist teaching, simply delusion meaning that not seeing what things are, how things are. So from little things to extreme ignorance or delusion, these are the cause of our suffering, so that we again understand and acknowledge and face that at times we have delusions. So we vow to eliminate these delusions. And for us to let go or to eliminate all these delusions, the third line comes in. Teachings are numberless. We vow to learn them. To eliminate all these delusions and ignorance, we need to learn. We need to learn, and we need to.
You all gonna have to chant though, right? Okay. All right. Okay. So. Mycelium Buddha Sutra. No, I'm supposed to do that, and then you all start with the first line. Yeah. No, the title. I do the title, and then we all start together with the first line. Again, it's getting late in the day. Okay. Mycelium Buddha Sutra. Mycelium Buddhas across space-time, past, present, future. Let your teachings enter the interstices of body, heart, mind, to soften our hearts, to see the pain of those denied respect and dignity, to awaken to the suffering in and around us, to realize we are the fabric of reality, to feel the joy and freedom of impermanence unfolding, to flow harmoniously in the stream of interbeing. Mycelium Buddha, what can you teach us about how to tend the garden? How can light shine on Buddha seeds deeply buried in the delusions of authoritarians, greed of oligarchs, hatred of supremacists? Mycelium Buddha imparted, breathe in, gather, breathe out, expand. Unroot weeds of ignorance, desire, and avarice. Cultivate blossoms of wisdom by transforming mud into nutrients. Infuse compassion into the intricate connections that embrace us. Strengthen the network of our mutual belonging. Grow branches of refuge that protect all beings from harm. Now I call on your wisdom to free all beings. See that I am you and you are me. Mycelium Buddha is your name. May all beings realize Mycelium Buddha is inside, outside, above, below, in brightness, in darkness,
Seen and unseen, gate, para samgate, bodhisvaha.
Embrace the immigrant seeking safety, dignity, and a place to call home. May they embrace every resident of New York City in every borough and every neighborhood. May they support neighbors who care for one another, those who accompany others into courtrooms, hospitals, shelters, and places of uncertainty. May they encourage all communities who stand beside one another with courage and compassion. May our merits comfort those who feel forgotten, abandoned, or unseen, or lonely. Those whose inherent dignity has been hidden beneath suffering. May they embrace all who endure violence, hatred, fear, loneliness, poverty, illness, and despair. May these merits nourish the rivers, the trees, the birds, the waters, and all living beings. May they strengthen the unity of our 5 boroughs, reminding us that our diversity is not a barrier to community, but one of its greatest strengths. And may they awaken within each of us the courage to continue walking together long after today has ended. In the Buddhist tradition, we often dedicate merit by saying, whatever goodness has arisen, shall it benefit all beings. It allows compassion to continue unfolding far beyond what we see right now. So the merits of this day, may they ripple outward without end. May peace grow where there is conflict. May hope arise where there is despair. May compassion overcome indifference. And may we leave here remembering that interdependence is not something we create. It is something we awaken to.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Something we choose to live. And may tomorrow's footsteps continues today's prayer and forever. Thank you so much.
If you have the handout, please turn to page. We printed this out, so we might as well use it. Page and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth, whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them. Listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember, the dance language is that life is. Remember. It's Remember by Joy Harjo. Thank you, Joy Harjo.
They put a dam to grind grain, and later they filled in the land, and it became a swamp. And now, look at it. It's a miracle. There's been a healing over time, and yet the river flows underneath us. That's the blessing, and yet the river flows within each of you. every day, every moment, in every breath, the river of life, of healing, of peace, the river of home. Your home flows within you everywhere you walk, with every word you speak. No matter how far the displacement happens, no matter how much violence is perpetrated, the river of truth and healing still flows, even if it's buried underneath the muck. I just want to invite everyone to just turn 90 degrees to the river. I'm going to go and offer this sacred water. I invite you to take that really classic Buddha posture with one hand on the heart and one hand.
The world didn't give it to us, this joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us, this joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This joy again, this joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us, this joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us, this joy that we have. The world didn't give it to us, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This love that we have, love that we have. The world didn't give it to us, no, no, no. This love that we have, the world didn't give it to us, no, it didn't. This love that we have, the world didn't give it to us. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This strength that we have, the world didn't give it to us. This strength that we have, the world didn't give it to us. This strength that we have, the world didn't give it to us. The world didn't give it, the world didn't take it away. This voice that we have, the world didn't give it to us. This voice that we have, the world didn't give it to us. Keep singing. Look at your neighbors as you sing. Sing to your neighbors. The world didn't give it to us. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Back to joy and sing to your neighbors. This joy that we have, the world didn't give it to us. This joy that we have, the world didn't give it to us. This joy that we have, the world didn't give it to us. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Very good.
The good land, the wild water, the whole sky is always on our side. We will protect each other and we will be everything we need. The good land, the wild water, the whole sky is always on our side. One more time. We will protect each other and we will be everything we need. The good land, the wild water, the whole sky is always on our side.
Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them. Delusions are endless. We vow to remove them. Teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them. Supreme enlightenment is inconceivable. We vow to attain it. 중생 무별
the good land, the wild water. The good land, the wild water. The whole sky is always on our side. The whole sky is always on our side. We're trying, but hoping we're just going to lose it until people get.